I think today I feel like diving into some spiritual shit with you guys, mixing it up a little bit. Talked about it before, something I was going to do on this channel, but it hadn't happened yet. I feel like today is the day. If the idea of spirituality causes any resistance in you, first and foremost, let me say, I get it, because I came from the same place. Very scientific. But I saw connections of a lot of this stuff early on, and I just knew I was going to get here at some point. But if you really think about it, this is a spiritual experience. Everything you do, everything we go through, every aspect of our life, if you believe that you have a soul. If you don't believe you have a soul, I suppose you could just skip this video. All right, so if you're still with me, then you believe, or at least you're open to the idea of having a soul, yourself having a soul. And one thing that I noticed in going down my journey of looking into and researching all of these different, self-help tactics and people that I listen to, whether it's Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, whoever it is, you notice there's a lot of commonalities, in a good majority of them, leaning on faith, right? Having faith and having some kind of a spiritual connection. But me growing up, I had a lot of resistance to that because it was super logical background. Everything had to make sense, and it was just all woo-woo stuff to me. But I'm like, all right, well, what is this? Because apparently it's a big thing for a lot of people. So, I started going down the road of researching a lot of things that have happened in the world that are not necessarily explained by science, and just getting the different theories and perspectives on what people think may have happened with these things. And so that kind of started opening my mind up to, things like the placebo effect, and how it basically says that thought has the ability to control matter, which is mind-blowing to think about. The framing that I've been looking at, that's kind of like the entry point. I can go on about this shit forever. But the framing of how we operate in our world, most people are go, go, go. Stress, stress. Gotta go here, gotta go there, etc. Not enough people spend more time in nature. And the idea that I thought of today that I wanted to come on and say something about is the idea of support. The further along you go with cultivating a relationship with yourself, you inevitably grow a spiritual connection with yourself. It's just part of the process. I feel like we declutter our subconscious by way of doing this work, and it makes room for us to have a more solidified connection with it. But when you think about how most people are always just go, 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 got to achieve, they haven't developed that relationship with themselves, creates a lot of stress, right? Now, on the other side, you take that same person, they start spending more time in nature, more time feeling and being in nature, breathing nature, losing themselves in nature, right? And now it's like they naturally get more support, if you will, in terms of their immune system and how they feel and all that sort of stuff, which now we know drives everything else. If you go further down that road, which is the added point I wanted to talk about, is that, you'll hear a lot of woo-woo talk about, you have your angels or your spirit guides, things of that nature. The universe supports you, God supports you, etc. But that's a hard principle to get on board with when you're someone who's super logical about everything. So the way that I've started framing it is, because it's all your subconscious. This is all, the only reason we have resistance is because of our subconscious. So we frame things differently, and we begin to continue to repeat that pattern, and then we create a new subconscious belief by way of what we consciously feel we should believe in, right? And so if I'm getting more on board with spirituality, and it's like, all right, well, how can I help this process along with regards to my subconscious? And so I think to myself, okay, well, I hear God supports me, universe supports me, source supports me, whatever you want to call it. Well, where is it, And then I thought to myself, well, shit, man, it's gravity. When you walk outside in nature, it's gravity. It's the air, it's oxygen. It's the trees, it's the food. It's all this stuff. But when we're so caught up in all of our boxes and our routines, we lose sight of it. But when you're in it, you feel it. You feel like you're actually in life when you're out in nature, spending time with yourself. So, long story short, it's been a real help for me to frame it that way in terms of I am supported. I am supported. Look at all this beautiful nature around me. This oxygen I can breathe. The people that love me. And then you can go furthermore and say, well, we know that energy never dies in the quantum field, in the universe. And so if that's true, then I'm even furthermore supported by those who you could say I've lost in life. But that's just the 3D version of them. That's just the meat suit. Further along this road, it just all checks out. It all makes sense. So anyhow, when I work with people one-on-one, I never preach any particular dogma, religion, or text, or push my spiritual beliefs on anyone. I believe wholeheartedly that if anyone just goes down the path of deconstructing their subconscious and reconstructing it by way they see fit, by their conscious research, experience, knowledge, it's gonna build on its own, and everybody has their own unique journey with it. But man, there's something to it, So I don't know if this resonates with you, and you'd like to dive a little bit deeper with it, and we haven't had a conversation before. Please do not hesitate to reach out, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. What's happened in my life, how I've felt these changes, how it's completely shifted how I show up in my day-to-day life, how I feel. It's just immeasurable, and I'm beyond thankful. And so part of my mission, part of my purpose, and I know it within my bones, deep down, is to be there for those that resonate with my message. And we just need someone to talk to. Sometimes our subconscious resists that idea too, though. Deep down, I don't need anybody to talk to. I'm good. I got this. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just know, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. I almost forgot to tie something in that's definitely worth mentioning, if this piques your curiosity at all. And I've mentioned it before in previous videos, but do research on how trees communicate with each other, how plants communicate with each other, how they talk, how you can actually tune into their frequency and hear the music that they play. It's not woo-woo shit anymore. It's real. And furthermore, research the power of your own subconscious. Just do a Google search of how much of my life does my subconscious control, or what is the real power of my subconscious. Just go down a rabbit hole, check it out. Look up Neville Goddard. He was one of the pioneers of beginning to spread this message, at least from what I've researched and seen. Amazing message, though. Check it out.
Just you white in me again. Just you white. You'll be sorry that your tears